If all that are, can we please rise and face the east? We start the North American prayer. We have two fingers to the right, five to the left, feet in a 45-degree angle. And please repeat after me. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector,
My guide, and my salvation. By night and by day. Prophet,
through his holy prophet,
to Ali, Islamism. I rise and give the highest praise to the Most High. Father God, Allah, rise and give honor to the divine prophet, noble to Ali. Rise and give honor to the forerunner, Martin Messiah Garden, who prepared the way for our prophets. Rise and give honor to all Adab chiefs and all faithful Moors that make up the grand body of the Moorish divine and national movement. I give honor to our first supreme grand sheikh appointed prophet, Brother Emil. Arise to give honor to our charter, to our supreme grand sheikh Umar Bray. I give honor to our grand sheikh, Lord Ill. I give honor to our elders and on the planet. Islam. Brother Jackson Bey, can you please read our Constitution and bylaws?
Islam Chairman. I rise giving all praise to Allah and honor to the Prophet of Allah, honor to the forefathers and foremothers, and honor to the Asiatic nations and the Muslims all over the world. Salvation, Allah, unity, the More Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of the More Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce law with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the More Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the More Science Temple of America. Act 2. All means are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday, the first man is formed of flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God alive. For that cause, Friday is a holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the More Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because Allah being the Moorish American, you are part and partial of the government and must live a life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the More Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of all the humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and by extension water. This divine covenant from your holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali, to the guidance of his Father God Allah. Noble Jew Ali, founder, Moorish American prayer, Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and join the meeting by night and by day through his holy prophet, Jew Ali. Amen. The Moorish Science Temple of America, home office of Noble Jew Ali, home office, Chicago, Illinois, USA. Islam is peace and love.
Islam and gratitude, Chief Secretary. Islam. Michelle L., can you please read our additional one? Our additional one.
Islam. I rise and give all praise to the great Father God Allah. I give honors to Prophet Noble Jew Ali. I give honors to Marcus Messiah Garvey. I give honors to all Muslims on the call and all Muslims in the world. Questionnaire and additional laws for the Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Act 1. Grand chiefs and governors and heads of all temples, all business, each said be approved by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Before acting upon by any members, let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the members to sacrifice finance, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under a heavy restriction, etc., by the Prophet or the Grand Chief. Act 2. All members are to attend their EDUP meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on their meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second, he will be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If member is working, his monthly dues must be paid. And if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish uplifting funds, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is the lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I would have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we're to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire, and let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so, because out from your Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation. Act 6. With us. All members must proclaim their nationality, and we're teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they're not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Jew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother. and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and mind pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God, Allah, Islam. Happy Sunday School.
Islam and gratitude, sister. Let me read the writ. To be proclaimed in every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know I have a few faithful Moors among you all. I have desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There's a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim that I was a joke and unreal. But now, since they found out from the government officials and the nation of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all agents must depend upon for their earthly salvation, as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that pay divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That's why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moors movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes to jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nation of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Prophet warns all Muslims to be read in every meeting. I hereby inform all members they must end all radical speeches while at work, in their homes, on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards with Europeans and cause confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders to be a severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom. When these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple of the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moors movement will receive their rewards from Allah for the unjust deed. All true Moors will and must obey the law laid down for them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found them. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali, and the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, sent out divine plea to all Moorish Americans. They do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful way. Peace, Noble Drew Ali. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam. This is instruction from the prophet Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefather divine and national creed, and you will be blessed with good deeds to sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is on now, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of times is drawing near, so says Allah, his divine prophet, I Noble Drew Ali. And that's why many hearts are turned to stone. Many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear. We shall be confounded in their sins. These are the trying hours now, dear Lord. And every evil spirit is moving. They are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones who believe. But if you have the spirit of our forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the ugliness of your very life to take your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Lord. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest. The ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temple. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace. The divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam, Islam, Islamism. Happy Sunday School, Muslim. Before we go into the one-on-one, I just wanted to go into our prophet, Moorish literature, Moorish Science Temple of America, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, founder. Noble Drew Ali, the prophet and founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America to redeem his people in their sinful ways. Wanted to go into is everybody's on the same book. It's page 11 on mine, but it will be measure number 9. What shall we call it? So often, our various journals found trouble in selecting the proper name for the Moorish American. Some say Negro, others will brand him race man, still, others will call him Afro-American, and then come colored, dark American, coon, shine, the brethren, and other folks. It is indeed a hard matter to find something suitable for the various occasions where a title needs to be used. Is it that these people have no proper name? Did they have a national name when first brought to these shores in the early part of the 17th century? If so, what is it? Did not the land from which they were forced to have a name? It now appears a good idea for those whose duty is to write for the various journals to find out what the national name of the forefathers of these people was. Also, look into the history of the founders of civilization and see who you were where they stood in the building of the present civilization. Probably 2 hours in and up to state library will serve to relieve the strain on our men of letters. When the occasion presents itself for a title for those people, these people are themselves. The matter of the various names given to these 25 million people with all colors of every race of the globe was an act of European psychology. They gave him a name. They defined it as something inferior to their white. They defined as a color of purity, black. They say represents everything of people. The Negro, as they were called in this nation, have no nation to which they might look with pride. Their history starts with the close of the Civil War and more properly with his being forced to serve someone else. Thus, he is separate from the illustrious history of his forefathers, who were the founders of the first civilization of the whole world. This matter should be looked into with a hope of correcting Islam. I just want to read that before we go into the one-on-ones on Sunday, and I wanted to go into the one-on-ones of 81 through 93. Just looking at that, it does show that the plan. I mean, we do know living in America, we can look at movies like the Reconstruction of America. We look at any current movies that have any type of controversy. Why is it any controversy when it comes to us? Well, something very much been hidden. And the prophet brought it all to light. It's like when I read that, that's 100 years ago. It's like we read these measures, and we read these keys. These are keys because these are over 100 years ago that still holds presence to today. Very much so to today, and holds super heavy, even more so today than of anything else, because our people of so-called color, of so-called black, Negro, and color, still fight against and our educators fight against it the most. When you look at our so-called HBCUs, they will get angry at you for letting their people that are in poverty, that they will not help, that those churches are outside magnificent capitals, but they're not serving anybody in the street. So it's up to us, because those are our people, to let them know who they are to wake them up, Islam. And with that, I do want to go into our 101. We want to go into 81 through 94. And we can use the Florida bill in the Sunday school because out through our Sunday school becomes the guidance of the nation, Islam. So let's get started with the bill. 81. What is the name of the person to whom Jesus was first reincarnated? Prophet Muhammad, the Prophet. 82. Was Satan to be bound then? Satan was to be bound in part. 83. When was the head of Satan taken off? 1453 Byzantine. Islam, I'm going to stop there, because if anybody has seen the old school movie of Bond with Michael J. White, and you look at this one dude that was supposed to be teaching him, not the evil people, the one dude supposed to be teaching the old European dude with your hand to turn to a sword, that was the dude from the Byzantine Empire, supposed to taught Bond, supposed to tame hell, supposed kind of makes a little synonymous in recognition with the word black. Islam. I'll keep going. 84. By whom? By Muhammad. When you look at any of these movies, they make Muhammad, they make Hannibal, they try to make Hannibal Brad Pitt. So when you look at anything of that, you kind of can't look at color, but kind of look at what we are, and that's us. 85. Name some of the marks that were put upon the Moors of Northwest by the European nations in 1774, which means they knew who you were and knew they had to stop you. Negro, black, colored, and Ethiopian. Remember, Europeans heavily felt that words were spells, spelling bees, and etc. So if I'm learning off of you, but I need to stop you to conquer anything and run everything, 85 is real heavy because it says, name some of the marks that were put upon the Moors of Northwest by the European nations. Negro, black, color, and 86. Negro, a name given to a river in West Africa by Moors. 86. Negro, a name given to a river in West Africa by Moors because it contains black water. Which means even that word came from us, not come from them. Negro land in Africa, in Northwest Africa. If you want to look that up on Google, the picture of that map, I believe, cost anywhere $80 to $215 just to show you the history about you say you come from Northwest and Southwest by Morocco. It shows you that right there. Why would that be a picture? Why would a picture of a map cost that much? Right out of go. Right out.
8713.
Wow. 87. What is meant by the word black? Black, according to science, means death. Now, we got to understand where we're at, and we got to understand where the prophet was talking. We got to understand the time the prophet was talking. Even nowadays, we got to understand the words we're talking about. If the Greek runs stuff now, they wanted to get a word from ancient Latin to what it means today. 88. What does the word color mean? Color means anything that is painted, stained, varnished, or dyed. Anything that somebody made to create for something else. Race, nature, that's heavy. 89. What does Ethiopia mean? Ethiopia means something to fight. 90. Can a man be a Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian? No. Now you see the game. And what do our people call it, sir? What do our people been called it, sir? You go back to the 80s. See the game. 91. Why? Because man is made of the image and after the likeness of God. 92. What does Satan give himself? What title does Satan give himself? That is God. 93. Will you define the word white? White means purity, purity means God, and God means the ruler of the land. And that is very heavy for when a person is doing words, that the words that you create to be the words that are spoken across the planet. Because English is the word that's spoken across the planet. Learn other languages is great when you go to visit the other languages, but even in those countries, the main language spoken is English. Through a conqueror that conquered this land, European, to the whole globe right now. So you gotta kind of think about that and think about the names and things that gave everything, because when it comes to human beings and we decide to talk, we put the meaning on things and we name it. And whatever race is controlling the world has to mean over the word they pick to call to. Islam. 94. To whom do we refer to at times as being the great God, Allah? 95. Is the devil made in the image and likeness of Allah? No, he is the shadow of our lower selves and will pass away. And in our Sunday school, on those measures, we can stop there and yield the floor to build. That's a great measure of those parts from 81 to 94. Just letting, us know from the prophet, letting us know who we are, where we stand, and how pretty much the keys on how to get back through the door. So we outside right now. Islam. At that note, I would like to yield the floor on any questions, comments, or just suggestions on the measures of the one-on-one. Islam, I yield the floor.
Islam, can I be heard?
Islam, brother.
I'd like to raise and give Allah the highest of praises and stand honest to all the Moors on the cause. And so my question is number 85. Let me pull it up here. So basically, let me see here. So basically say some of The name some of the marks that were put upon the Moors of Northwest by the European nations in 1774 was Negro, black, color, and Ethiopia. So I still don't quite understand the if you had any knowledge about the Ethiopian part, because like far as like the history that I know of, us over here in the Northwest have not been called Ethiopian as far as what I've read. So I never heard that term over here, Ethiopia. But I do know like the country of Ethiopia is in the east over there by like Sudan. So I was trying to figure it out. Do you have any information on what part of our people here in Northwest were called Ethiopian? And with that, I give up the mic.
Islam, Brother Haynes there. Let's open this. I wish I could show camera. I have a histo map of world history that goes back to 2000 BC. So if I'm going to go back to who we were before even Ethiopia, you have Egyptians, Algerians, Hittites, Amorites. And then you have all our people from the East, as far as the Asiatic, other African, which is Iranians. During the time of the name, Greece and Rome had a big fight. So those Europeans had a fight. That fight, because Greeks and Algerians started making contact in 1450 BC. So they made contact, and then when Egyptians, Hittites, Hebrews, Assyrians, Phoenicians, when we all made contact with each other, it was 1150. So when the story was, told by historians, which means his story, which was told by whichever was conquered, which is what we're depicting off of, they knew about you, so then they gave the name. Because we never really gave ourselves that name. Just like we never gave ourselves the name Black, Negro, we never gave ourselves that name. So now when something that came and conquered, because during that time, Egypt was kind of going on a downturn, and Egypt was our employer. Way over in Africa from the United States of America. So now when we do our studies of the real studies, we do know that the pyramids and mounds are twice as old here than over there. And the prophet even said, we're the mound builders. So we got contracted by our brothers over there. And just like even in Africa, there's 130 something so-called seeds that were sold from over here to over there during way before Columbus. So then when he came around, because he's Greek, they started giving names when they started winning wars of where we're at right now. So they gave the names of those type of people, because even then, I want to say Google up Prophet Noble Jew Ali, and his Indian tribe sounds similar to Anunnaki, which is way in Egypt, which is still over here as well. So they're kind of like, even now, starting to let us know who we really are as far as the super ancient people. But in history said that, hey, they're going to dumb us down. And time and millennia is long. So they dumbed us down for a good amount of time. When, like, even I'm looking at this scale, even if this scale is so completely correct, because even as me as a historian, who's to say 2000 BC is 4,000 years by date by date by year by year? That could be a lot less time, but again, it still says dated, so it still says, hey, this is happening, and it waves in and out as far as like from the people that originated the earth and were running around from what they knew and took any type of note from all the way to now. It seems more like when it came to Ethiopia, it's more of they were into what a word of something of a name could mean. And it meant divided. So a Roman or a Greek that will give it that name, what did they do? They divided Islam. I hope that kind of answers the question. I yield the floor.
Yeah, Islam, somewhat. So yeah, so I'm gonna have to really look into that because that's like, so I know that our history is like been really twisted up. So was it like kind of like the ones that they sent back over there were called Ethiopian? Because I know because in the questionnaire it says the Moors. I know the Moors are everywhere, but it says the Moors of Northwest. And so I'm saying like when I think of that, I'm thinking about the ones like us here in the Northwest. Because I know you had some that were over there in the East, and so like us over here in the Northwest was just some of us that got taken back over there, and they called us Ethiopians. So that's what I was trying to understand. And I do know that I'm gonna have to do some more studying on that as well. And so I'm gonna let you respond to that. Then I got another question that's similar to that.
Islam, brother, and that's a great question and a great bill. The more advice I'm looking at right now because we got another book that I got. It's a little bookstore out here. I'll be getting the books from, and it comes from, this one comes from the book I was looking at right now was a map book, and it came from the Library of Congress. This one, this book, thanks, right to this book, to answer that question a little bit better is, it was a book by the Black Man's North and East Africa by Joseph A. Ben Jacquin and George Simon. I'm just gonna read the paragraph. Discussing a not all right down, all the way down. Right here. Okay. Was it Herodotus alone, Herodotus alone, of the ancient and that describe the Ethiopian or Negro of North Africa and the Nile Valley, blue and white, high cultures in the manner outlined so far? No, not by the slightest sketch of one's imagination. Xenophhanes, Xenophanes, Documentus, Democritus. These are all people that we were called before Ethiopia. Stratoba, Strabo, Diodorus and Diodinas, Latinas, all of them ancient Greeks of noted scholarship, to whom most which to them of way of the Africans of the Nile Valley, Great Lake regions. Now let me pause on that one. So they are tying this into America being Africa as well, even in this book.
Okay, I see it now. Yeah.
Which came to them by the way of the Africans of the Nile Valley, northwest, southwest, and shores of Africa, like the prophet said, Great Lake region. Ain't no Great Lake region in Africa, that's the Great Lake region here. North African and other parts of African, Ethiopian, and let me spell this one because it's spelled like Anunnaki, but it's different. Alkebu hyphen LAN, continent, held to the abstract description of the Africans of their era, and did not exclude any group of Africans from said color and physical racial identification. Ancient people, here, there, same area. European didn't know. So this person that made what we're going through 250 years ago to this day, this is all their studies. Everything else, we got to go back and look at the books that weren't burnt because those were ours before they could burn them. So the only one that wasn't burnt is these little books like these that we pick up because everything else they did, like, they renamed and said stuff, but it was to, if I'm taking what you know and what to get my better game, why would I keep putting you back on Islam? And I wish I could kind of show a picture because it's illustrations in this book too of just statues, no painting. It's all statues of this book, and this book should be online. The Black Man's North and East Africa. The Ethiopian Empire, 1050 BEC. The European of Carthage, the Empire of Carthage, 10 to 150 BC. So, this is a book. It was a book that was written by us as, a European to let you know the light of what was really going on. So when it came to, like, say, Ethiopia, it's a people, but Ethiopia was like how, like, if you try to say all of us African Americans to me back in ancient times. That's how I kind of look at it. It was just what a Greek or a Roman would call a person of color because I really don't, if you call me that, even like you call me Ethiopian now, I'm gonna say I'm a Moorish American. Same thing probably during that time. And it was so many different names that they couldn't even pronounce. So that's why they could just only stick to those primitive names they gave us. And Mark, Islam, I hope that answered, and I'll yield the floor.
Yeah, Islam, that answered my question. So I'm starting to get it a little bit because I know our history is like the most like twisted and mixed up, So it's kind of like we facing each other, and you walking right, and I say I'm walking right. We both go in different directions, and so I know that, so we gotta dig deep into it. But yeah, I'm starting to, get a grasp on it. It's gonna take some time for me to like fully get it though. Islam, when I give it the mic.
It's gonna take us all as long as we all learning and building on it. Because even like these books that I'm getting, I still got to depict these books because these books still. It could be one of our brothers that helped write the book with a European, but it still is a book that still is kind of written by a European, so they can understand us. So through what we're reading, you still got to understand what they're trying to understand to bring yourself back about yourself, if that makes any sense. Islam. So we all are still learning, when it comes to that aspect, or even when you're looking at something that you're reading, because you're looking at something you're reading that's depicting someone else telling you about yourself versus somebody telling you about you. Islam, I yield the floor.
Islam, I would like to add something if I may. Right, I give praise to Allah, honors to our prophet, honors to the forerunner, also honors to our Supreme Grand Sheikh, Brother Kenu Bey, and his staff, and honors to all you Moors, honors to you, Brother Kobe. All right, that the Ethiopian demo, when you look at that, the prophet said Ethiopia means something divided. Ethiopia was the old name for the Atlantic Ocean. It's a map from 1650. They call it the Ethiopian Mar because Mar, M-A-R, meant sea. So you see this map, it says Mar de Ethiopia, Oceanus Ethiopicus, right? And so they're saying, when they call us Ethiopians, because they did, they called us Ethiopians, they called us Mandingos, they called us Guineas. You see how up here it says Guinea or Guinea, Benin, right? Guinea. They put those blanket terms on us to say that we came from Africa. All right. And there's various documents. We've even read some. It's been some years, been like a year and a half or 2 years, but we read documents where there were people who were born here in North America. And everybody knew that they were from places like Connecticut. They were from South Carolina, but the people would just all decide, the whole community, all the Europeans would decide to call this person, say that he was from Guinea. You know, he was an enslaved African, and so it was a term. This is why the prophet said these are marks that were put upon the Moors of Northwest. I'm gonna have to go back and find some of those books because it happened over and over again. And when something happens more than once, when it happens 5, 6, 7 times, where you can find it, if you can find it 6, 7 times, it probably happened hundreds of times. But where it's documented that they did this to people who were from here. So putting those marks on the people was specifically to remove them from the land. Okay? To say this person from here. And in the book, it was explaining how they would do this to the person, the Asiatic person who's from that area, because once they put that brand on them that they're from over there, then they don't have any duty to take care of them. They don't have, because maybe the person's getting old and they need assistance in their life now. They're like, oh no, he ain't from here. You know, he is an enslaved African. He got his freedom. You know, he's from Guinea. He's Ethiopian. He's whatever. And it happened over and over again. So that's real. You know, and it's documented throughout history, and it's happened. You know, all of these things it's saying in here, you know, in these keys, is real. It is verifiable, and we can go back through history and see how it happened to real people. Islam, I yield the floor.
Islam.
Great message. Oh, Islam, brother. You got the floor.
Islam, I would like to rise to my highest heights, giving all perfect praises to our Father God Allah, honest to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, honest to all Moors on the call, honest to all Moors, Islamism. I just wanted the Camelback. This is a great bill, great lesson. So I just wanted the Camelback on this. One would be the ancient name for the landmass of Ethiopia is actually Kush, which we all know that more or less. That name, like the Grand Sheikh has stated, and the good brother Sheikh that stated, that name Ethiopia is a name that's newer. That's like modern. When you look at that name wasn't the name of the people originally of that area. And that name is one of the terms that allude to slavery based upon that it's a term that's synonymous with the term African. And whenever you look at the resolution 75, I think that's it, the OMB, right? When it gives you the terms white, black, when it gives you all the descriptions, that label Ethiopia is under the black term, which would be the black nations of Africa, and that's one of the examples also. So clearly, Negro, black, and colored falls all under the black, which in the United States of America, that's not citizen. So that's another thing that he was pointing out, the march alluding to slavery and knowing that you can't be of African descent, quote unquote, and be a citizen in the United States of America. The prophet knew that under the law. So by him pointing these things out to us and telling us that we're Moorish Americans, there are many points that show that, one, the demonstration of us originally coming from Canaan, which is the Middle East. We're the Moabites from the land of Canaan, which from the Middle East, that's one, citizen, white. Two, us being Moroccan, modern name. That's another one listed under white, which is citizen. Two. So between citizen and non-citizen in these days and times, that's what's being pointed out as well. Islam, thank you for the floor. Appreciate it.
Islam, brother. This is a great deal. I just wanted to read. It's kind of a little lengthy paragraph. I just wanted to read it real quick. I'm actually going to go to the middle of I'll do it real quick. If there is any doubt as, and this is African European writing this book, if there is any doubt as of why breasted of where and had to make the Carthaginian Semitic, it should be dispelled by the last quotation above. But one must question whether the professor or his attendant was aware of the existence of the following coin, shown the likeness of the general Hannibal, faces from a side view on one side of the coin and an elephant on the opposite side. Coins of the vintage were freely used during the period when General Bakara was at the zenith as conqueror of the Iberia Peninsula, Spain, Portugal, and parts of the southern France. The regions of the Alps mountains range and the Po River Valley. Also, all the northern Italy and all those conquests, his African Negro troops, soldiers, not warriors, over 60,000 of them, made it freely with beasted and wear Indo-European female caps, the same as European Americans of the British colony that became the United States of America made it freely with their Negro slaves. Islam. So like even when we are looking at it, when we look at the other part, we kind of see what they held from us. Like the thing was, it was going on both parts. No one was ever like at a down part. I can say that us as our people been in our down part from, I want to say, after the Civil War till now. So even in these books, if this is a European writing what was going on, so like we have free reign. So even the word Ethiopian is something that they use. When we call ourselves what we should call ourselves, and they'll respect it and know it. We just start calling ourselves stuff. And when it's sleep, Islam, I use the floor.
Yeah, Islam. You know, like re-rise. And so I got another heavy question similar to this. And so I know when we first opened up the meeting, you was reading out of the Moorish literature. And so I do got like a lot of knowledge of different things that I heard about what the word Moor means. And so this is kind of like question is kind of like all over the place a little bit. But so what I was taught is that the word Moor means Westerner or he that went west. And if that's true, I was trying to figure out, like I heard that we had this name, you know what I'm saying, for a long time. So I wanted to know at what point did we start calling ourselves Moors? So were we still called Moors when we were in in Moab, or did we get that term afterward? Because I know that we went west after we lost our land in Moab. But at the same token, because so we were going west, and I was wondering, is that what that was talking about? And if that's the case, why it's like you had like a lot of other groups that called themselves more. And so with that, I get with the mic and trying to get some clarity on that because there's like more to it than that, but just trying to get the basic understanding of that. And with that, I get with the mic.
Islam, that's a great measure. I can give a speculation before I could even answer that because I mean, it really wouldn't be that much. The truth of it is still named even more. Before more, who will we call? So now, and even with that name, did the Egyptians give us the name Phoenician? Like that's a question that we gotta also ask ourselves too. But at least those names before, like Moor and Venetian and Carthaginian, and giving the land from Cush and Ham, those were names of nobility given But when we start getting marked names, it's like kind of like something that someone else gave you, which in history of human beings, if anybody give you a name, you kind of a punk. And we kind of trying to like shed light and get out of that one. So, you know, the names of before would be okay if they're the names that our people gave each other, not the names that somebody gave. If that kind of makes any sense, that's the whole thing when it comes to that. So more, yeah, they were given, we were, you know what I'm saying? We named ourselves that because they couldn't pronounce other stuff. That's what I would want to say. Because when you think about Christopher Columbus and you think about 10,000 different tribes of us, we had names. And the name, it was so many different names, just like even now. Europeans discard our customs and culture. That's why it's so cool to us, and they dig in and try to find out, and they try to be hip, and they exploit it. Kind of like how they did in the 90s when it came to entertainment. So they look at what we're doing is cool, and they exploit it to the fullest. So it's always been that way, and those names been so many of them. And you know, we can change them, we can make up different ones, because that's how we are. But as long as we take power on making those and change those are something that we made change. Those can be interchangeable. It doesn't matter about the time, it doesn't matter what it was originally called, as long as we're making. That was the magic, and that was the spirit of us as a people that never can die, versus something that someone else put on us as a mark, if that can kind of make any sense. But yeah, it was a whole bunch of names, because you also got to think about it's books that shows that, because again, Europeans and Christianity started making stuff about suicide. If somebody came over your land, that's why 10,000 tribes they don't even know nothing about, because that was happening too. You could see what's going on, and a lot of us, we didn't get killed. A lot of us decided to not be here, and our families to not be here because of what we've seen, what was going on as well. That's also books that wrote about us as well. They kind of put it in to make it seem like it was more of the Pocahontas Indians, which was also us. Because you got to also think about it too. When you look at like in history, why when you look at like say when you fill out a job application 10 or 15 years ago, it say Black, African American, and non-Hispanic. Pay a little bit of attention to that. I have people in my family that are Hispanic, that are so-called Black. So we all were cool with each other, and we probably all had the same type of name that we called ourselves before somebody came over here and called us something else. So now we're dealing with what's called something else and trying to still go back and call ourselves. So whenever we go back to what we call ourselves, it doesn't have to necessarily be something. It's just when we decide to call ourselves something and stand on something as our people. The prophet gave us more Samaritan. So we stand on that one. We stand on that, and that shows in the law that that is a nation of people versus a name that another nation person gave. Islam, are you in the floor?
Islam, brother. Gratitude. I'd like to add something to that too. So, the people have used all types of different names throughout time. But one thing we know about the Moors is that this is a name that goes to antediluvian civilization. That's how old it is, meaning it's going back several thousands of years, going back, prehistory, before you had civilizations, as far as we know. When we go back to, ancient Moors, one of the oldest lands and people that you can see that, have that Moor in their name, and then what they refer to as is Mauritania. Mauritania is on the western coast of Africa, right, bordering the Atlantic Ocean. But once again, those people, they're historians, they're Berbers, they know their history. They actually have stories that tie their people into ancient Atlantis, into flood society. And then we have the story of Atlantis with the king Poseidon and one of his sons, Atlas. Atlas was one of the kings of Atlantis. Atlas was the first king of Mauritania. All right. The Atlas Mountains are in Northwest Africa, right? They run through Mauritania. It's named after the king of, one of the kings of Atlantis. Okay? And he was a Moor. And there's no denying that. Now, people can tell you anything. Oh, you ain't connected to that. You ain't nothing, right? But the Prophet Noble Drew Ali connected us to the creators of civilization, literally. So it doesn't matter if those Mauritanians went and started calling themselves, different names, as they spread out, into different parts of the world. Doesn't matter. These are the people who created, as it says here, philosophy, mathematics, astronomy, all of that stuff. The civilized people, the creators of civilization. And back then when he was the first king of Mauritania, that included Mauritania, Morocco, Algeria, all of that. Okay? So this is going back to before even the continents broke up and split up. And so this is connecting us to pre-flood, antediluvian people. So that means it goes beyond whatever any of these other people saying on YouTube, whatever any of these other people that think they're smart, that think they know everything, they don't know nothing. We going back to stuff that they think is a myth. Because if you say Atlantis, they think that's a myth because they don't know nothing. That's why all of these languages and all of these civilizations in the world, they actually have a tie that binds them all back together because it all comes from a point, right? It comes from an ancient worldwide civilization. And that's what we're tied back into. Going back to Mauritania, the historians from that area of the world, which actually this thing is up here on the screen, that's the Reshat structure, which is, this thing, it might look small because it's on the screen, but these are high up, mountain rock structures, right, in the desert, in the Sahara, that are perfect circles, circles within circles. And that's how ancient Atlantis was described as. These circle islands, where you have circles within circles and they're separated by water. And this stuff actually exists, it's real. Everyone else thinks these are myths. So yeah, we're tied back into that. We're reconnected to that for real. And that's why I'm saying it, different people throughout time actually use the term more, but then people use different terms as well. But it's like, who cares? We going back to the root. Islam, I see you, sister. I yield the floor.
Islam, first and foremost, I'd like to rise again, perfect praise to our Father God Allah, honors to the Prophet Noble Ali, honors to the first appointed Supreme Grand Sheikh, our brother Emily Il, honors to the current Supreme Grand Sheikh, our dear brother Kenu Umar Bey, honors to everyone on the call this evening, honors brother Chairman. This is a very good demonstration. I just want to add, when we look all around the world, even present day in your city, you're gonna find more something. We have the more villages, the more apartments down the street from here. Nobody knows why they're called a more. There's streets called more. We can go back to the pyramids and ancient Kemet. It's called Ta-More. Okay, so that more means light. The pyramids were Mer. So I think the word more just kind of changed, if you will, as time went by from the word Mer. And that's just the people of the light. And, to present day, from ancient times to present day, you could see the transformation of the word, but it still has the core sounds in it. It went from Mer to more. And it's just how the language and stuff got switched up, pronunciation. But at the end of the day, it still means the same thing. We are the children of the light. Islam, now yield the floor.
Islam, and just going back to this again, this is why if you're looking on the map, you see this Mauritania. This is why it doesn't matter if you're from Jamaica or Puerto Rico or New York, Ohio. I could go on and on, right? South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, doesn't matter. Most of us, like, we're gonna have a common lineage. You're gonna have Senegambian in there somewhere. You're probably gonna have Nigerian in there as well. All of these people have ties to this region because at one point in time they all lived in ancient Mauritania, believe it or not. Now, when you look into the history of Mauritania, it'll tell you that. It'll tell you that, Mauritania is connected to the Niger, all of these different people that I'm mentioning, it'll tell you that, right? So that's why we have those ties that, we all have these similar blood ties, because at one point in time, the people moved there, which is what the prophet told us, right? We went from Canaan, settled there, and then some of us, or many of us, went on into the Americas and settled. That's why it's in there. The European will tell you, oh, it's because I went and conquered all these people and brought all these people into a new land, and then I fought the people that already were living there. Plus, I'm bringing people against their will. Yeah, right. We have those different tribes in our bloodline because we mixed as we moved into these lands, and then we came here. And so that's why we are tied to this. That's why we are Moors. That's why we descend from the creators of civilization. And that's why it don't matter what anyone else says Moor means. We know what it means. And this is pre-flood. So can we exactly prove all of this stuff? No, we have to have our own historians and everything so that we can tie this together for ourselves, because ain't nobody trying to prove that for us. Even the people who do this work and write books about Atlantis and all that stuff, they ain't doing it for us. They ain't trying to tell us nothing. So we have to understand it. But yeah, and especially if it's some Asiatics out there trying to talk trash about Moors, man, they can kick rocks. They can, go jump off a cliff or something, because they crazy. We tie back into the creators of civilization. How you going to try to come against that? Islam, I yield the floor.
Yeah, Islam like to re-rise. And so actually you made me think about something. So before I came into like the complete knowledge of the Moors, Bobby Hemming a long time was doing like a teaching on there, talking about, I forgot how the teaching went, but he was teaching how that we're from Lemuria as well, saying how long the Moors has been here. And he was, when you were talking about Atlantis, that made me think about how he was talking about Lemuria as well. And so now I'm starting to see all of it now. And with that, I give up the mic.
Islam, but I was just looking at the cover of this book that I got. If anybody want to look it up, it's a time chart of world history, a world histo map of people and nations for 4,000 years by John B. Spark. It just shows European Captain Cook in the 1770s when he was exploring around and was given the name. That's what I'm saying. Like those names that they was giving, these are the names that was given in the 1700s by some Europeans. Not knocking them or anything, but it's just we know that we have to deal in time of what they gave the names of. Easily, if we go dig up and find out what the name was, I'm looking right in this map right now. I say Mordai, right by India, right under Asia in the ocean. It got Mari Tar, way above Asia, way north by the North Pole. So that we have those, those names, just like even in America, if you think about it, most of America's streets are either European is 1/3, so-called Native American, which is us, is 1/3, and Hispanic is 1/3. Everywhere. Now, if you are more up north, it's more than just Native American and European. But when, like say in Florida, it's just a third. Everything is a third. Everything is either it's in Latin, which is ancient Latin is our language, and it's in Native American, and it's a few as European because it was what got took over. Like literally to say Camp so and so, even down the street from me. Camp so and so, if you go look up the history of it, meant that they just bumped you off your land. You can look up that in Ohio. Look up any spot in Ohio and look up the history of that spot. Mostly parks too. Parks is definitely was pretty much a fight, like a gang fight to me. Look at most parks will tell you that's why it's a park now. It wasn't peaceful at first. It was yours. It ain't yours no more. And just like when I looked at other studies of, just like we look at go down south. It's a book I'm gonna put light on that one too. I'm doing more studies and reading on that one too. When it's called the Mississippians that were here, they were us with from 1000 BC. from Central Mexico to Mississippi to where they spread it out everywhere, as we see call us as people. So it's other stuff that, like, yeah, Europeans gave it a name, just like how they gave our Father, God Allah, many names. We're spirit man. We have many names. So that's just some name that they gave us, but we can look back at names and even look back at names before they even started naming names, and it's all us. Islam. And with that, I like to give the floor, but just wanted to explain that, to how the greatness of just the ancient, not being on any ego when it comes to more. It's just, we're ancient. That's it. We're old. We're old, so we just waking up and figuring out and putting it together, because the old can put something together and be completely great and help humanity, all races, because all races are us. By one breath got us all stuck. Islam, I yield the floor. Islam, and I'd like to open up the build on any other questions as far as the Sunday build, or any other questions, concerns, or announcements. Islam, I yield the floor.
Islam, brother, just wanted to say gratitude to you. Islam.
Islam love, Grand Sheik. Islam Morris. I'll go into the divine warning by the prophet for the nation. All citizens of all free national governments, according to the national constitution, are all of one family bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name as their constitutional government are classed as undesirable and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatment that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the name and the principles that elude slavery. I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back to the state of mind, to their forefather divine and natural principles, that they will be law abiders and receive their divine rights as citizens according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. They are to claim their own free national name and religion. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by the government and the earth, and it comes through the connection of the Morris Divine movement, which is incorporated in the government and recognized by all other nations of the world. And through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a national ballot proposed under a free national constitution of the government and not under a granted privilege, as has been existing conditions for many generations. You who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those who know law in City Hall and among the officials in your government, and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply. for they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into light. Money does not make a man. It's a free national standard and power that makes a man and a nation. The wealth of all national governments, gold, silver, and commerce belong to the citizens alone. And without your national citizenship by name and principle, you have no true wealth. And I am hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a free national government and enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support for all American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people from falling in constitutional laws and government. I am depending on your support to get me back into the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate and will live according to the love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Supporting our free national constitution of the United States of America. I love my people and I desire for unity and mind back to their own free national and divine standards, because day by day they are violating the national and constitutional laws of the government by clinging to names and principles that are unconstitutional. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the Constitution and government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. In all other governments, when a man is born and raised there and asks for his national descent name, and if he fails to give it, he is misused, imprisoned, or exiled. Any government of people that fail to answer up to the constitutional standards of the law by name and principle, because to be a citizen of any government, you must claim your national descent name, because they place their trust upon issues and names formed by their forefathers. The word Negro alludes in the Latin language to the word nigger, the same as the word color alludes to anything that is painted, varnished, and dyed. And every nation must bear an national descent name of their forefathers, because honoring thy fathers and thy mothers, thy days will be looked upon this earth. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizens of this day. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national governments in the world they live. The 14th and 15th Amendment brought the North and South in unity, placing the Southerners who were at the time without power with the constitutional body of power. The three national constitutional laws that was enforced in 1774 declare all men equal and free, and if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since the constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendment for the salvation of our people and citizens. So there is just one supreme issue for my people to use to redeem which was lost, and that is through the above statement. Then the lion and the lamb will lay down together in yonder hills, and neither will be harmed, because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in this land. And in those days, the United States will be one of the greatest civilized and prosperous governments of the world. But if the above principles are not carried out by the citizens of my people in the government, the worst is yet to come, because the great God of the universe is not pleased with the work that are being performed in the North America by my people, and its great sins must be removed from the land to save it from enormous earthquakes, disease, etc. And I, the prophet, do here believe that his administration of the government is being more wisely prepared by more genius citizens that believe in the free national constitution and laws, and through the help of the such class of citizens, I, the prophet, truly believe that my people will find the true and divine way of their forefathers and learn to stop serving carnal customs and merely ideas of men that have never done them any good, but have always harmed them. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens to help me to remove this great sin which has been committed and being practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not the true divine way, and without understanding they have fallen from the true light into utter darkness and sin. And there is not a nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc., in their present condition of their endeavor, in which they themselves try to force upon a civilized world. They will not refrain from their simple ways of action, and their deeds have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that has brought harm to human beings on earth. And they fought Southerners for all these great misuses. But I have traveled in the South and I have examined the conditions there. And it is the work of my people continuously practicing things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives a life. And I am hereby calling on all true Americans, moral support and finance to help me and my great missionary work to bring my people out of darkness into marvelous light. From the prophet. Islamism. Before we close this out, any donations on missionary work, please go into morrisamerica.com. Any dues that need to be paid, please go to morrisamerica.com. Put into the pay dues. I do appreciate all more. I do appreciate all our moms, all Asiatics, everybody on the call and on the planet for the great work that we're doing and the great work that is yet to be done. And before we even close out on the last prayer, I just wanted to do the last ask out for anybody that had anything, questions, concerns they would like to share before we go into the closing prayer. Islam, I yield the floor.
Islam, brother, just want to remind everybody we will be celebrating the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's birthday, which is January 8th. We're going to celebrate it on January 5th on Sunday from 1:30 to 4 p.m. at the new Reynoldsburg Library. That's 1402 Bryce Road. And that'll be 1:30 to 4. We encourage people to bring a gift to exchange. We'll have a gift exchange for the children, and also bring your favorite dish to share for the potluck. Okay, so that's going to be January 5th, 1:30 to 4 p.m., 1402 Bryce Road. And we do have our charter, so we will also be having a ceremony, just to acknowledge that, receiving our charter. Great occasion for us locally. So we encourage everybody to attend if you're able to, and that is January 5th. Islam.
Islam, Grand Sheik. And on this note, I'd like to go to the closing of the meeting. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. If we all, can we please rise for the closing prayer? 2 to the right, 5 to the left, feeding 45-degree angle. You don't have to repeat after me. Allah, bind our hearts and minds back to our ancient forefathers, divine and free principles. We ask this in thy holy name, in the 7 Elohim. Amen. Islam, 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 Islam. Allah is the greatest. Prophet Noble Drew Ali. This was a great bill, great measure. Peace and love, Ma.
Peace and love.
Islam, peace and love.
Islam, peace and love.
Long peace and love.
Islam.